Hi, this is Brian Icenhower with therealestatetrainer.com, and I've got a special guest with us by the name of Dale Archdeacon with the Global Living Team, headquartered out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Dale, welcome with us today. Being here with us today. Dale and the Global Living Team, they close over 1,000 units a year. That's the number they're tracking this year, which is coming to a close. So it looks like they're on pace right now. Just a phenomenal amount of production coming out of these guys. And a lot of that's due to Dale, who is the lead generation director of the team. And essentially what Dale does is he runs a team of ISAs or inside sales agents that generate appointments for the various outside sales agents on the team. And they're located all over the place, even as far as the United Kingdom. So
Yeah.
Dale, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I thought we would talk about, we do have another video out there where we've talked about your hiring practices and how you compensate your ISAs and how you select candidates and how you interview them. Today, I thought we'd talk a little bit more about what you do after you've got them hired. Before I do that, though, I do want to say one thing. Dale is actually an ISA coach himself. He coaches a lot of mega agents and a lot of mega teams across the country. And he actually has his own coaching and consulting company called Smart Inside Sales Agents. And you can actually go check out a lot more information than you're going to see here on Dale's company's website, which is called smartinsidesales.com. So I strongly recommend you do that. But luckily, we got him for free right here talking with us. So we're going to try to get everything we can out of him. Dale, I thought today we'd talk more about your training and some of the systems you use, your expectations, your goals, your accountability, some of your lead distribution methods. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, well let's start right out the gate with what are your expectations for these inside sales agents? What do you expect them to do?
So when we first hire an inside sales agent, we work to get them up to being able to make 40 contacts a day, 40 contacts with a decision maker, right? So that's not wrong numbers. That's not the kid answered the phone, or my mom's not home right now, or you got his mom's house and he doesn't live here anymore. It's actual decision makers that can give you a yes or no.
Okay, so you got to speak to 40 people a day.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people will think, okay, well, that's not, I mean, if that's all this person does, you got an inside sales agent. I mean, I know agents that are solo agents that'll do 20 contacts a day.
Yeah.
And they'll knock that out in 2 hours. All you're asking for is 40. Is that a lot?
So, it can be. So there's some difference here, right? It depends on the lists that you're calling. It depends on how old the list is, right? Because you run out of numbers. If anybody that has a calling department or inside sales department or call center will know that the bane of our existence is running out of numbers. And now you're just calling the same lists over and over and over again, and you're going to get diminishing returns.
Okay.
So that's on the other end. Once you have somebody who's trained and really producing and calling, on the beginning end is just getting the inside sales agent up to speed on all of our systems, and then getting them to learn how to be able to manage dealing with their lists, dealing with follow-ups. Also, the 40 contacts is not just follow-up people. That's 40 new contacts, by the way.
Right. So there's a lot of things that get in the way of an ISA.
Yes.
And that's what I want to highlight on. There's a lot of other things an ISA has to do other than just be on the phone, isn't there?
There is, exactly. So we try to push for 6 hours on the phone a day, but we've also got meetings that get in the way. We've got lead follow-up, them putting notes into the system, tagging their leads, following up, doing the task lists that they've set for themselves prior. Once an ISA actually gets into production and they're setting appointments, now they've got to reschedule an appointment for people who miss it or can't make it. They're interacting with the outside agents, following up with them. So they've got a lot of other tasks that they have to do. So we try to help keep them focused on making that minimum 40 contacts a day.
They also have meetings with the team, meetings with you probably too per week, right?
Yeah, several
training.
meetings.
They got training.
Several trainings and meetings. Yeah.
I'm sure you got birthday parties and holiday parties and other
Yeah.
social events.
Yeah. All that stuff that gets in the way of actually selling.
Yeah, accountability. There's a lot of things that just real life comes into play out there that needs to happen, and it keeps happening. So I agree, and I think that is a very important focus, because without the accountability, the meetings, the training, the role play sessions, the follow up in the database, it just simply will not work.
Right.
It's not like you can just have someone there making 100 contacts a day. They will not be successful without the entire package. And I think that's really important. And that's why you're so successful in what you do, Dale. Well, one of many reasons.
100 contacts a day will blow the gasket out of anybody.
Yeah.
Fact.
That would kill me. That would kill me. I have done that before, believe it or not.
It is hard to do.
It is hard to do.
Okay. Like saying, hey, so, I want you to run a 5K 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Probably not gonna happen.
Doing that every day gets tough. Okay, so agreed. Okay, so talk about your expectations for, what they should do a day, what they should do a week, what they should do per month, that kind of thing.
So once they're into production, we follow the 2-10-40, right? So 2 appointments a day, 10 appointments a week, 40 appointments a month. That's kind of the minimum standard. So you get somebody, you train them and hire them, or you hire them, train them, coach them up to being able to do 2-10-40, and then people, obviously ISAs that are good are doing more than that. So, top ISAs are setting way more than 40 appointments a month. They're in 50, 60, 70 range. And then just a minimum standard that we use for our team would be a minimum of 5 contracts signed a month. So in your slow months, December, November, December, January, that can get a little bit tough. In the better months, a good ISA is setting 10, 15, or more, or getting 10 or 15 or more contracts signed in a month.
Okay, I like this. So to sum it up, we're looking at minimums. These are all minimum standards of 40 contacts a day, appointments, 2 a day, 10 a week, 40 a month, and then 5 contracts signed per month as well.
As a minimum, yeah.
I like that. Okay.
So, and you know what? The management style that I believe in and that I think is the most productive is I generally manage from the outcome backwards, right? So in my weekly one-on-one that I have with each ISA individually, if that ISA is over their goal for the month and they walk into that meeting, the meeting is really fast. It's, hey, how's it going? What would you like to talk about today?
Exactly. Yeah. And I do want to talk about those meetings. I agree with that. And I want to talk about those meetings. But first, while I'm thinking about it, let's just talk about, we've got 2 types of prospecting these guys typically do, right? You've got outbound and inbound. Yes. Outbound means they're out there, trying to generate new leads, trying to generate new appointments. So picking up the phone and dialing. Whereas inbound is we've already got a lead coming in from some source. Somebody's inquiring about either a price or a home, and then we're calling and following up to provide information and hope convert that into an appointment, correct?
Yes.
Those are inbound and outbound.
Yeah, inbound and outbound. And some companies, some teams will split those up. So they'll have solely an outbound ISA, or an OSA was what they call them. Right. Outbound prospecting versus an ISA, which is inbound. Our team, we have them call everything, right? So my theory about this is that the outbound prospecting stuff, calling FSBOs, expireds, circle prospecting, that is really hard work. And it takes a ton of contacts and it takes a ton of skill to be able to pull appointments and contracts out of those lead sources. So I also like to, I train all of I just call them ISAs. They're all trained to be hunters and killers in that way, to be able to do outbound. And I reward them also with the inbound, right? So they get to enjoy that inbound as well. So I don't break it up in that way.
No, I got you're right, because some do. Some have inbound and outbounds, even different behavioral profiles for each. But I like it. I'll tell you, that's a quick way to keep people running out of numbers too, because you can always call around some listings.
There are millions of people in this city. Call somebody.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you've got circle prospecting for outbound prospecting, your OSA or your outbound ISA. So circle prospecting, I'm assuming expireds, withdrawns.
Yeah, expireds, withdrawns for sell by owners. Um,
Okay.
so that really kind of rounds out the outbound cold stuff. And
Let's,
here I want to tell you something. Everybody talks about inbound, like website registrations, even sign calls, Facebook ads as being inbound. I want to tell you something. After the first 5 minutes, that thing
yeah,
turns into a cold outbound. Okay.
it does. Yeah, they they didn't know what they were getting into. That's true.
Well, yeah, no. Especially if you go to the website and you've got to trade your information in order to look at some houses.
Yeah.
As far as you're concerned, your transaction's done, and you're not
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that prospect is looking to talk to anybody. That suddenly becomes a cold outbound call. So let's just be honest.
That is true. That is true. Okay, so you've got some inbound, typical website registrations. You mentioned people want, evaluation request. How much is my home worth?
Yep.
You said sign calls.
Yep.
Um,
We've also, I forgot when we were talking earlier, we've also got all those referral sources, right? So Dave Ramsey, Agent Machine, Agent Pronto, all the people who are sort of giving you layups. You know what I mean?
right. And you've got Zillow and Trulia too, right?
Zillow, Trulia, Realtor, the whole nine.
Okay, and then you mentioned Facebook leads off Facebook ads.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, so we covered the sources. Now let's go back, like I promised, to the meetings that you have. Talk about how many meetings you have with these guys a week.
So we have three set meetings, three standard meetings a week, and one of those meetings is what we call group call coaching. So I started off by trying to listen to their calls, trying to like pick out which calls I should listen to out of the hundreds that they make weekly. That was overwhelming. I just couldn't figure it out. And I didn't want to just listen to the appointments that had already been set because we kind of know what that outcome was, right?
Right.
So I wanted to hear the problem children, right? Let me hear where you're having trouble. So I tasked them with picking which calls they want to review every Monday and setting those aside so that we get together as a group for an hour and we play their calls that they say they're having challenges with, and we coach them as a group on that.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
That is your group call. So you have that meeting per week. That's your group call coaching.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the other? You said you got 3 meetings with them per week. So what are the other 2 meetings?
So then the other two, one of them is a group coach role play session where I'm role playing with them. Right, okay. We're all role playing together, and this is usually what we're doing is we're really working on specific objections that they're having difficulties with, specific objections that they don't know what to say to, or specific situations, right? So I'm calling expireds and they keep hanging up on me quickly, right? Or I'm calling FSBOs and I just can't get around. I want to try it for a couple of months. So we just take whatever that specific part is and really practice on it.
Yeah, that's great because then everybody learns at the same time. People learn and they can teach each other too. It's not, you don't have to always be the solution there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
So the seasoned ones teach the new ones and helps me out.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, you probably learn from that too. I mean, you pick up all their different tips and techniques too.
I'm telling you, there is no replacement for being on a phone every single day. My seasoned assassins teach me a lot.
I bet. Okay, then your last meeting. What's the last of the 3 meetings you have? You have two of them. It sounds like are group meetings, and then I'm assuming that third one's a one-on-one with each of them.
Yes, so every Friday we do a one-on-one cash talk, right?
Right.
So we do a one-on-one meeting. We review the numbers. Actually, let me say this first. I said that I like to coach from the result backwards, right?
Right.
So if the ISA is crushing it, they've blown their goal out of the water, it's a really fast conversation, like I said. Then it becomes all about what are your needs, what's getting in your way, what are your frustrations, or what can I help you with, right? Which is a topic that I have those one-on-ones because I wanted to be able to give that inside sales person the ability to express those kind of things to me every single week so that they have their own platform to talk to me about what's going on or what their needs are. So that piece is always in every meeting. If they've hit their numbers, we just move on right to that piece. If they're struggling with hitting their numbers, then we go backwards and see where the problems are. And that's what the point of having a really solid up-to-date tracker is.
Right. And you call that your daily tracker, right?
That's the daily tracker sheet. Yeah.
Okay. So and this takes time because they have to record all their attempts, right?
Every day.
So let's talk about let's talk about the different metrics you have on your daily tracker. I know you've got quite a few of them. We discussed them before. And I would like you to go through and list every category that you have them track.
Okay, so starting from the beginning and working through, we just go logically, right? So we start with how many new leads did you receive? So every week I can see, I have a virtual assistant go in and pull from the system how many new leads each ISA received, and they put it onto the tracker for me.
Excellent.
So we have new leads, and then we have role play sessions. Then we have dial time in hours, which they get from their dialers. Then we have contact attempts, which we get from their dialers. And then we have contacts, which is how many people did you actually speak to, right? Then we have nurtures added, which are people who obviously aren't ready to set an appointment right now, but we're going to be working them up to them. And we have certain criteria that we use to determine what a nurture is and even qualify those nurtures.
Okay.
Then we have nurtures owned. So we have to keep an eye on, make sure that this ISA has a good fat pipeline that will likely convert in the future so that they can hit the numbers they want to hit and make what they want to make. Then we have pre-quals set, pre-qualifications that have been set, pre-qualifications conducted, appointments set, appointments conducted, contracts signed, and closings.
Excellent. Excellent. And this actually, I mean, you can almost solve any agent's problems that aren't hitting their numbers with this.
Oh yeah, that's the charts. That's the.
You almost don't even need to have the agent in front of you. You can just look at the numbers and figure out the problem.
You can diagnose it by looking at that.
Yeah, yeah. You almost always know where they need help. You can probably get the content of your group coaching call, your group role play session from the previous week's daily tracker reviews.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this isn't just for accountability and motivation. This is also for a lot of diagnosis for you guys as well, too, it sounds like.
It's diagnosis. What I tell the ISAs is, occasionally I get an ISA who doesn't like to fill it out completely, or, we struggle with getting that done. It's usually the high I's, by the way.
Right.
So, what I say to them is like, I can't help you get to the next level if I can't see the whole picture here. It's not like I'm shortchanging you by not getting to see your whole picture, and therefore I can't help you. So come back next week, have this filled out all the way, and I can tell you what you need to do to get to where you want to go.
There you are. Okay. Well, one thing I do like how you do your lead routing and distribution with regards to your ISAs. You talked about the difference between assignable leads and auction leads. Yeah. So define for me, tell me about that process. What's an assignable lead?
Sure. So yeah, we went through a lot of trial and error with this, trying to keep all the natives happy, natives being the outside agents who are getting the appointments. So what we did was we said, okay, there's going to be leads that everybody would take, right? So within our demographic area, if it's within, say, 45-minute drive, which everybody will do, and if it's over 200,000, and it's not an investor, and it's not commercial, and it's not a rental, then pretty much anybody on the team would take that and they'd be happy with it. So we said, okay, if it fits that criteria, it's an assignable lead, and it's going to be on a hard round robin. So we just go down the list. Whoever's next gets the next appointment, whether it's 250,000 or 2.5 million. If you're next up, you get that lead.
Okay, so you pick in your area that was $200,000. Anything above that price, and it's within a reasonable distance, because no agents like to drive forever. No. And it's not an investor, not a rental, and not a commercial property. Right. That qualifies. You label that as an assignable lead, and it goes to next in line.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Those would be the cherries of the cherry picking, right?
Got it. Okay. So when we got to get to the lemons now. So if it does not fit in those criteria, you call that an auction lead.
Yeah, we call it an auction lead. And that just gets blasted out via email to the entire sales team. Whoever replies back first gets that appointment. And the important criteria is that if you take an auction lead, it does not prevent you, it doesn't mess up your position in line waiting for an assigned lead.
Okay. So these are first come, first serve. Whoever wants it gets it, throw it out there, and it will not disrupt the run robin process with the assignable leads. You could get as many of these as you want.
Yeah. So what you end up with is a lot of the junior agents taking a lot of auction leads,
Yeah.
or you'll see it fluctuate, right? So if you have a top producing agent who suddenly doesn't have a lot going on, you'll see them jump on an auction lead, right?
That is awesome. Yep, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Dale. Thank you for all this. This is amazingly valuable. I love the systems you have in place. They make great sense. Some really progressive, innovative stuff here too that I love. And for all you guys out there, make sure you go check them out. Go to smartinsidesales.com and learn a little bit more about this and say hi to Dale. Dale, get back to it. I'm sure you've got some one-on-one coaching sessions you need to do with the gang. So get after it.
I've got more than enough to do. I know that much.
I can imagine. All right. Take care, guys.